Hey guys, I'm Jacqueline,
Marcella?
and we are here to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home.
Finally, guys. Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Oh my god, we were so excited to see this movie. Oh my god, like we got tickets right when they went on sale. Let me tell you, you guys, non-spoilery right now, but this was the Spider-Man Avengers. Like that is what it felt like.
This is one of my favorite. It definitely comes close to my favorite. I don't know if Endgame is still my favorite, but this
Oh, yeah,
really
no.
I'm
Endgame
just
and
saying like Marvel movies in general.
It's up there though. Like I feel like every time I see a new Marvel movie, I'm like, "Oh my god, this is the best thing ever." So, it's hard to like
Yeah.
narrow down like that, and I don't think I'd ever be able to actually sit and rank them. Hands down, the best Spider-Man movie I have ever seen in my life. And
Yeah.
that includes the Toby Maguire ones, that includes the Andrew Garfield ones, that includes the Tom Holland one. Like this was my favorite Spider-Man movie.
One thing I wish I did do is to go back and rewatch like all the Spider-Mans beforehand. They weren't like streaming anywhere, so I like didn't. I wish I just bought them before and like marathon all of them because that would be more fun going into this movie.
Yeah, I watched them
A lot of
here
fun.
because my dad bought them.
Mhm.
So, like, we watched them, like I mean, I was this month has been, like, insane, so that's also been a lack of why we have not done videos really, because we've been, like, insanely busy with our the Etsy store, my family's Etsy store that my mom and I have been like gluing and making ornaments. So like in the background we've had Spider-Man playing in the background as I make ornaments like for Christmas and like fulfill orders and stuff and try to get everything out. But so I did watch those. I didn't get a chance to rewatch the Andrew Garfield ones, but I remember those a lot. Like those in particular, like I remember vividly like seeing in the theaters. It had been a while since I watched the Toby Maguire one, so I was happy that I refreshed myself with those. But yeah.
Yeah, I
I
definitely wish I went back and rewatched those. So if you have not seen Spider-Man yet, you might want to do that before you go see
Yeah,
it.
and for those who are looking for Hawkeye and wondering like where we have been, if we like why we have fallen off the face of the earth, like we will be watching Hawkeye, obviously. Obviously we will be watching Hawkeye. I wasn't too excited about Hawkeye, honestly, not gonna lie, because I'm a big Natasha fan. So like I'm borderline on like the it should have been Clint that died instead of her. So but we will be watching Hawkeye.
Those will be coming very soon.
Know how much we could really say non-spoilery wise because like I feel
Yeah.
like I don't want to ruin anything because
I
like
mean,
I
it was
didn't
epic. It was funny. It was emotional.
it was everything you want but
All the emotions.
I will say like if you want to go like see this in theaters, you guys, like this was the first movie back
Oh
for
yeah,
both of
definitely. This
us.
is the first movie we saw since COVID. We haven't been to the movies in like 2 years, and it was incredible to be back. And I feel like it was even more special that it was this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a perfect movie to like welcome back to the movie theater. It was a great movie to go back to, and the theater experience was epic. Like the theater experience was like Endgame Star Wars level epic. Like it was a great movie. Go see it. We highly recommend racing to the movie
We don't
theater and
want
go
to
see.
tell you anything else
Yeah.
because we don't want to spoil you. So go check it out, and then you can come back and talk with us about all the spoilers.
So right off the bat, the beginning of the movie with Peter and MJ. Like first of all, we were like saying in the theater, "Oh my god, remember when these pictures got leaked of like
Yeah, it
Tom and
was so
MJ?"
exciting because I remember those pictures of her like holding on to him with like her legs around him and him swinging, and it's just really cool to see it like now because when we saw those pictures, it was like, oh my god. So yeah, that was really cool and really funny how he's like swinging with her and he like leaves her up there, and that is the beginning of like all the chaos of everybody knowing that he is Spider-Man.
Yeah, it was like it took off right from Far From Home. Like it was like right after that, the chaos, the what happens to when everybody knows who Peter is, and then obviously they know who MJ is, and they know Ned, like they know everything. Like, oh my gosh. And Yeah, it was so funny though. Like there was so much humor and so much witty banter. Like the time like they're flying and like I loved when they were when he was flying with Zendaya. Like and this is a very very beginning, and they're like freaking out, and then like Ned like FaceTimes him and he's like, dude, like, and he's like, I know. And like he had like a moment of like pure panic with his best friend as his girlfriend is like hanging off a ledge.
Yeah, that was great.
I thought it was so funny. Like just like that. And then not only is that humor great, now we see Happy with his Aunt May and they walk in the room and she's like trying to like undress his Spider-Man suit. And she like walks in on that and it's just like and like there's just like the chaos of like, oh my god, you guys were dating? And then they're like seeing them. And then there's like helicopters outside their window.
Oh my gosh, so great, so great.
It was just a wonderful opening sequence.
I love though how Daredevil was the lawyer.
Yes.
That was so cool how they threw that in. We haven't watched all of Daredevil. We've seen some episodes, so we're like familiar with it. So that was really cool that that was thrown in there.
Yeah, the audience had like a gasp in the theater of
Yeah, it was
like,
just like, "Woo!" Everybody cheered. Our audience was amazing.
yeah. People
Everybody
were
was
like,
cheering at like everything in this movie.
yeah, it was great. It was great. No, I like that too. And I liked how it was very funny seeing like the difference with them all like waiting to get lawyered up and MJ. Like I love Zendaya as MJ. Like she's so funny and she's so smart and she's so clever. And I love how she was like telling like Peter, like, don't say anything. And she like
Yeah.
refused to tell them anything. She's like, I need a lawyer. I need a lawyer.
Ned is just like literally telling his whole story.
She's like, well, I was working with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like it was so good. Um one thing I really liked was I liked how college was still an issue for them too. And that's when they really realized like, oh my god, like I can't do this with everybody thinking I'm like this bad guy because like I'm not a bad guy. Like Peter had to struggle with trying to figure out college and his friends because he's at his senior year in high school and he wants to be able to go to school with his best friend and his girlfriend and he wants to have like that normal life and he saw the way it was affecting um how it was affecting Ned and MJ, and that was the big reason why he went to Doctor Strange to tell him like this is really bad, like we need to fix this right away because like my friends can't have a life anymore because of what is going on. And yeah, I think
But that whole scene though is really funny because like Doctor Strange was like, wait, you didn't even call them and try to fix this before you wanted me to like literally wipe the memory of everybody on the earth.
later on in the film, you know, Peter wants to save all the villains, and Doctor Strange is like, "This is their fate. You are crazy. You cannot do this."
But it's like I
And
understood, like I
I
agreed with Doctor
understood.
Strange. I was thinking like this is crazy. We're not gonna be able to fix these villains. Like just send them back and we're good.
I know, like exactly, exactly. Like it was just like such a relatable moment. Like I feel like Doctor Strange was like the general audience of being like, "This is not going to work out good."
Yeah.
But I really liked their dynamic and like their friendship and how much Doctor Strange cared for Peter. And I think that you saw that at the end of the film, which we're not going to go to yet. But I really liked how he had that sympathy for Peter.
Being a pain in the ass. Like Doctor Strange was like so done with him, but at the same time you could tell that he really did feel for Peter.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, you know what's funny is when they mentioned the idea of wiping people's memories, we should have had like the alert, like, oh my god, why are they bringing a spell like this? Whose mind is gonna get wiped? Like, what is gonna happen?
We were too happy at the end of the movie.
Like,
Too
we just,
happy. So we initially meet Dr. Octopus
mhm.
on the bridge, and that scene was so cool. And I love how you have Peter who's like trying to talk to the lady who's in charge of like the college admissions. He's like trying to like prove to her like, please give us like another chance, like please like let us into college. And she's like hanging upside down in the car. while he's like having this whole crazy fight, which was so awesome. Like seeing all the villains was so cool. And I love at the end of that fight, she's just like, I'm gonna call and I'm gonna talk to me. You're a hero.
No, that was so good. And one thing that was very interesting was we got the tease of it when he was fighting Dr. Octopus was the technology. Like the
Right,
difference
I took it
between
over.
seeing, yeah, like it was so different seeing our Peter, Tom Holland's Peter, fight Dr. Octopus because his suit had the technology in it, not like Toby Maguire's.
Yeah.
So like when you see the piece of like his suit go into one of Dr. Octopus's like leg things, like it was just like so cool. Like and then
Yeah,
how
the
Peter was
differences
able
in
to
all the
control.
suits was cool.
Yeah, but he was able to like control it, which was really cool. Like he would be like moving his hand and like
Hmm.
that would move. Like it was very cool, like visually.
Yeah.
And I liked how he was like, "Who are you?" Like he was just like so confused. Like, how did I piss off this?
You're not Peter Parker.
Like Peter was just like, "How did I piss you off? I don't even know you. Like, who are you?"
He's like, wait, let's check that.
And then you get a little tease of Green Goblin coming in, which was like, oh my god! Like when our audience like saw like that bowl roll, it was like, oh my god! Like it was like that piece of Green Goblin, and everybody was really excited about that. And
Hmm.
honestly, like every like entrance, our theater was like pumped about, even the
All
ones
the
that
entrances for the villains were just like epic and like got the whole theater just so excited.
yeah. I liked the main plot of this movie though too because it felt very it not only did it feel nostalgic, but it felt very much like a healing type of thing. Like I liked the idea that that Peter wanted to heal all these villains and I liked that the odds were stacked against him and it worked at the end, which was very cool, which was I was not really expecting it to fully work.
No, I
Um
wasn't expecting it to work either. I was expecting it to fail and Doctor Strange to come in and be like, well, you can't save everyone and push the
yeah.
button.
Yeah, exactly. So I liked how this whole arc that the villain's arc was showing how the villains of Spider-Man are not so black and white. Like there's that gray piece of villains and I liked seeing them dive into that and heal them and get take that darkness out of them and have them be at peace. And you really see that with Dr. Octopus's character. Like when Peter, I mean this is again jumping toward
Right,
the
he
end.
was like the first one to be healed.
Yeah, and it was really nice to see him have that dark and that weightness like lifted off of him and all of that.
It
Like it
was
was just
also cool because he like helped later on with
hmm
taking down and healing all the other villains.
yeah, like it was just it was just awesome like the way that the arc of the movie went and it was even cool seeing Doctor Strange fighting Peter. Like that was
Yeah, that was
wild.
wild.
Like that was like, oh
When
my
they were
god.
in like the mirrored world and like everything was like going crazy. I felt like we were back in the Doctor Strange movie where you're like feeling trippy.
Oh my
Like everything
god.
is just turning. And Peter ended up like figuring it out. Like he like did the math and like ended up like beating him in there and like left him like hanging.
Yeah, like, oh my god. And then he comes back and he tells Ned, the first thing he tells his best friend, I just fought Doctor Strange and I won.
Yeah.
like like I thought that I
Like I love that like child like
yeah.
quality of Peter. I feel like Tom Holland plays it so well. Like it's just like amazing. Like he's just
Yeah.
such a great Spider-Man.
Brings such an innocence to the role. He really
Yeah.
does. He brings such an innocence to Peter Parker. And you know what's funny is like I was like trying to think like who's my favorite Spider-Man, like when you think of all of them, and I really feel like every single Spider-Man has their own take on it. And I
Yeah.
love every single one of them individually. I really love
Yeah,
Toby
I feel like they
Maguire.
all have their own like strong points and like the way that they like play the role
Mhm.
is different, but it's also like unique in that way.
Yeah, and then you really see that towards the end, but we're not gonna get there right now. I really liked seeing, like, you throughout the movie, like, I felt like when Doctor Strange kind of got like left in his mirror world for a little bit, and Peter went and tried to actually like heal all the real villains with MJ and Ned. Like I was kind of happy that that happened. Like I love Doctor Strange and I love his dynamic with every single person that we've seen him interact with. It's so good. But I really liked that it was Peter, MJ and Ned. Like I love the three of them together, and I love that this movie still highlighted that friendship and the importance of that friendship, and
Mhm.
especially like Ned, who's been his best friend since they were kids and like has been with him since the very beginning, and seeing like I love their friendship so much. It's so funny. And obviously I love Peter and MJ. Like they're
They were
so good.
so they were so cute throughout this whole movie. I
Yeah.
mean,
I think
heartbreaking at the end, but
yeah, like I loved them so much. I really did. Well, I was so happy to actually like see them be together in this
I feel
movie.
like
And
she was so supportive of like him making like these really hard decisions throughout the whole movie too, and like being there for him, and their relationship was just like more mature in this movie, I feel like.
yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
It was very nice to see, and I love Zendaya as MJ. Like she is such a smart character, and she brings such a wittiness to the role, and her and Tom are just like the cutest thing. Like their
Oh, yeah.
chemistry. I love their chemistry so much, and I love them as actors together so much too. So like it was really nice, and I love Ned too. Like I love how Ned and MJ are like friends too, and they're just there for Peter and they're helping him. And yeah, it was very cool. I like that they gave each villain their own fight sequence with Peter. Like it
Mhm.
wasn't like it was a lot, you know, like you saw like Electro and like Sandman, like it was a lot, but it was good. Like they didn't have them like have to fight all of them at the same time until much later on in the movie. You know, like
Yeah.
they gave each villain like their unique characteristics. They gave them all a good amount of
Their
scenes,
little
a
like
good amount of
spotlight
dialogue.
moment, yeah.
Yeah, like I felt like each villain coming in was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. It was just very exciting. And then like I think we're at like the heartbreaking part with May.
So, as much as I was just so devastated for Peter watching that, I feel like it was needed in this movie. Like it needed that weight to it. And I love how we get the iconic line of with great power comes great responsibility. Because that's just such an iconic line in the other Spider-Man movies, and we got it from May in this one. Oh gosh, it was hard to watch. Like Peter, I mean Tom Holland did an amazing job in that scene, and oh,
My god, it still makes me like so upset because she believed in him so much. Like I love seeing May in this movie and how much she believed in Peter and how much she was helping him with the technology. And like Peter was so smart in this movie, like figuring everything out with all of that, like each villain's issues and all of that. But I loved how May was there. And oh my god, I was so scared when the Green Goblin like hit her, and then she stood up, and it seemed like she was fine.
no, but I had in the back of my mind, I was like, no way. I'm like, this is
Uh,
not like she's definitely not. Like I was still like iffy. I was like hesitant, but
no,
I feel like if in that moment she did survive, it wouldn't have had the same impact. I think it
yeah,
was definitely necessary for the movie.
he
Um,
needed that. He needed that moment. That
Especially
I mean,
because, like you said, she was helping him. It was basically her idea of like, telling him like, is that
yeah,
really what you need to do? Like, do you need to send them back or do you need to help them? Like, it was her who kind of like, orchestrated all of that and like gave Peter that idea to do that.
no, it's true, and I think that you know, it's hard because Peter already went through a lot. Like if you think about him losing Tony Stark, that was his mentor too, in a way. That was like a father figure towards him, you know, and he lost him. But having him lose his Aunt May was just and the way it happened was just perfect in a way. Like it was so tragic and it was so sad, but it was really well done. Like I really
Mhm.
loved how she delivered that line to him, because every Spider-Man needs to hear that line, you know, and it felt very satisfying to hear it before she died, and then that being her last conversation to him. and then you hear it echoed back from the other Spider-Mans, like I was shook. I was like, I was so crying, and like the visuals of it, like there was like that
Mhm.
one. There's like the one visual of like the news telling, like saying like that there was a tragedy and that bad things have happened now, and you see Peter like crying in the rain, and there's like the vision of like all of like the screens around New York City talking about him. Like I thought that visual was very
That was
impactful, and it
very
really,
powerful.
yeah, it really made my heart hurt for him. It really did. But that was his downfall, and he wanted that revenge, and he kind of went in that little Toby Maguire spiral of like wanting that revenge for somebody that he loves die. And okay, can we talk about it now? Can we talk
Yes,
about
yes, yes. Oh my gosh, guys. The excitement when the portal opens and you see Spider-Man and you know that it's not Tom Holland, it's one of them, and oh, he comes through and he takes it off and it's Andrew Garfield, and it's just the excitement. It was just so amazing to see him back.
the screams in the theater when Andrew
Yeah.
Garfield takes it off and it's him? Like the vindication, because everybody's been saying, you know, they're in it. You know, Andrew and Toby are in it. You know, they're gonna be in it. And like the validation of like, oh my god, they were actually were. And I really loved that they were in a good portion of the movie. Like I was scared it was gonna
Yeah.
be I was so scared that if when they came in, I was so scared it was gonna be during the middle of a battle scene, and they were gonna have like one scene at the end and that'd be it. But like,
No, they also I feel
no.
like it yeah, they were able to kind of like figure out like making the cures to kind of like help heal them. So they were also a part of that, like the research and like seeing them in the lab. So it was like fun like that, and we got a lot more banter in that way and like conversations and interactions, and it was just so cool. Like seeing the three of them interact, like the moment when we saw Toby Maguire too, and I think it's funny that like he was just dressed normal.
He was just like totally
And
normal
then
and like
like later on, they're like, "Are you gonna change? Are you gonna like keep looking like a youth pastor?"
it was so funny. But like, you know, I like that they gave each of them like this awesome entrance, and then then it was like Ned and MJ like figuring it out. Like
Yeah.
Ned finally using his abilities and being like, "Bring me Peter Parker" or whatever he said. Like he's like looking for
Yeah, when
Peter
he was like
Parker.
opening all the portals, that was funny.
He opened it, and oh my god! And then MJ's like, "You're not Peter. Crawl on the ceiling. Crawl on the ceiling." And he's like, "I'm not
He's
gonna
like,
crawl on
"That's
the
enough."
ceiling."
She's like, "No, it's not."
And then like, what was it like? Ned's mom. She's like, "I'm going to bed." Like I'm not.
Yeah, she was like, "Can you get the cobwebs up there?"
Oh my god, it was just like the perfect. Like that's what I love about Marvel is I love the humor in all of the Marvel
Oh
movies.
yeah, the humor,
So on
the
point.
banter, it's always the best. And the three of them, like there were so many amazing lines. Like
Uh,
when Tom Holland was like, "Oh, I was in the Avengers," and they're like, "What is that?" And he's like,
is it a band? Oh, it was great. It was so great. And then, oh, so Toby Maguire's entrance, I really liked how his face was shadowed, but like you know it's Toby. And then he like walks in. It felt kind of like you know what it reminded me of? Obviously totally different, but it reminded me of that moment in I think it was Endgame with Captain America when he has that entrance and he walks in through the shadows, like he walks down at the train station and his
mhm,
face is shadowed, but like you know it's him, and then like the light comes on and it's him. It had that kind of feeling. Like I loved
yeah,
how each one had their own separate entrance, and oh my god, it was so nice to see them.
it was
I was
amazing.
just like,
I do. I thought it was good though. It was well done. How initially when they're all fighting together and we have like the big battle, it kind of went to shit because
yeah,
they weren't working together. No, like they've been they haven't really worked on a team besides our Tom Holland Spider-Man who was in the Avengers, so like he knows how to work as a team. But it's funny that the other Peters didn't know how to do that, so they had to like figure out how to work together in that way.
and you know what I love about Marvel doing this is I felt so much validation for having loved Spider-Man for for like ever. Like I remember seeing the Tobey Maguire ones in the movie theater when I was really little, like maybe like 10, like 8 or whatever. Like those came out back in like the early 2000s, and like I remember seeing those, and then seeing the Andrew Garfield ones in theaters. Like it just felt like such validation because we love the MCU so much, but those were also really great movies too. And it felt like by opening up the multiverse, it validates every single thing that Marvel has ever done.
Genius.
And that includes the Netflix shows, that includes everything that Marvel has done. Like there's universes where all of these things are possible, like anything is possible, you know? Like
Mm.
I really loved that. So I really love that Marvel did that and gave that to all of like the longtime fans. And it was very rewarding. Like I was just over the moon seeing them all together. That was everything. And like I loved how not only did we got like a good amount of like banter, and like how many times did they call Toby Maguire and Tom Holland, how many times did they call Andrew Garfield amazing? Like you're not lame, you're amazing.
Yeah. The joke.
Like there was that joke. There was like the meme of like the three of them like pointing at like the three Spider-Man, like how that came to life. Like
Yeah.
there was just so much, like it was everything that everybody wanted. It really was everything
Oh
that
yeah, I feel like because
everyone wanted.
everybody like had expectations that they were going to be in it, but I think that this definitely blew everybody away, and it I feel like it was definitely worth waiting for, and like our expectations were met.
No, they were like, not only did everybody cheer when they all came in, but there was like that one shot that was just amazing of like the three of them when they were running off of like the roof together. Like it was like the three of them, and then they flew, and then it was like three of them like swinging at the same time. Like it was just so
Mm.
visually awesome to see.
Yeah.
And yeah, like it was just like I loved how the big battle scene was on the Statue of Liberty too. I thought that was very cool, and how
Hmm.
the Statue of Liberty had a Captain America shield.
Yeah. Oh
Very
my gosh!
cool.
And then when the shield fell, they were fighting on the shield at
Yeah, it was
the
very cool.
end.
It was very cool visually, and
Mhm.
I also liked how I liked how uh, Tom Holland's Peter was so broken up because he just lost somebody he loved so much, and he was at such a dark place in the movie. And then you get that beautiful scene of like his best friend and his girlfriend like hugging him, and then MJ is like, there's somebody here. And then it's like all of them, like how they had like that moment of connection with him, and
Yeah.
they all said that line of like, with great power comes great responsibility. Like they all said that like together, and it was just like this bonding of all of them. And like they all became fast friends. Like I was like sad that they left. Like
No.
they all became such good friends. And I love seeing not only did we get scenes with them, but we got to see scenes with them with their villains, which was very cool. Seeing like Toby's Spider-Man with Doc Octopus again, like seeing him with Green Goblin. Like it was just so wild to see them face these villains again and have
Mhm.
those conversations. And
Yeah.
like it was just so cool to see that whole entire thing happen. And I really loved every piece of dialogue. Like honestly, like every single piece of dialogue was great. Like I want to watch it again. Like I hope, like I want to know if there's like a place to watch it online. Like I want to see it again. Like I want to go to the theater again to see it.
Right.
One scene that we were so happy that they brought in, and it was probably one of our favorite moments of it, like in that fight sequence, was seeing Andrew Garfield's Peter catch MJ when when she fell off. Oh my gosh. Like
So
the
emotional. I love that they
healing
put
I
it in there.
felt, like the healing I felt, like if you've seen The Amazing Spider-Man 2, like I still, for some reason, that one scene, it's like so vivid to me. Like I remember
And
seeing
it
that in
still haunts me.
like I remember seeing that
Dramatic.
tragedy. And then I remember they never, obviously they never gave him the Amazing Spider-Man 3, which, side note, my dad told me that that Sony's in talks of doing that because apparently Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man blew up, like everybody like loved it, loved seeing him so much again in the suit, that people are now wanting that third movie for him, and I really hope they give it to him. I will like die if we
Oh
get
my
him.
god, that would be so cool.
if we get an Amazing Spider-Man 3. Well, because this kind of opens up the world now because we
Yeah.
know we can have a Spider-Man 4 with Toby Maguire. Like we can have an adult Spider-Man. Like I would freaking love that so much. But like we can have all of these things now. Like, we're getting into the Spider-Verse with Miles. Like there's so much that we could do with the multiverse. Like the multiverse opens up so many possibilities. But
That's so true.
yeah, like seeing him catch, like I felt like seeing him catch MJ, it to me it foreshadowed that he would meet his own MJ, and it kind of gave him that healing and that hope, like him catching her. Like it was just like a
Mhm.
moment that like I was so happy that they gave us.
Yeah, that was a great moment for him. Another moment that I'm happy that they threw in there was the scene with Dr. Octopus and like when and Peter. I thought that was a really, really good scene too.
Yeah, there was like it was just so good the way that they did it. Like every single villain getting their moments with Peter, like getting with their Peter.
With their Peter.
Yeah, and then Green Goblin. Oh my god, like I didn't like he was so like scary in this movie. Like he was so good. Like he did such a great job. And I really that
I
last
feel like he was
battle
like the ringleader of all the villains.
that battle scene though when it was Tom Holland's Peter fighting him on like the
Yeah.
shield at the very end. Oh my god, like the vengeance and
You could feel, yeah.
like the heartbreak of that. And I loved that moment of Toby Maguire seeing it too, because like, like they every all of the Peters, like the two of them related to it. But I guess because like I just recently watched it, like it was very fresh in my mind, like that vengeance that Peter goes through, Toby Maguire's Peter, and what's in his, like he just sees that and you could just tell like it felt very important for him to go there and to stop our Peter from doing that. And how he mentioned his best friend, and oh my god, I loved that so much. Like Harry and being mentioned, like it was so good in that way.
Mhm.
And I like that it was Tobey Maguire's Peter that stopped Tom Holland from doing that moment. And oh my god, when he got
Let me
stabbed.
tell you, I thought he was dead, and I'm so glad that he wasn't. They just like just did that to scare everybody, basically a shock factor type thing. Which you know, if they had gone that way, I feel like it would have been too much death in the movie. Like Aunt May was enough. I don't think that it needed that, and I feel like it would have put a very you know, it wouldn't have been as happy that they were in the movie because he didn't make it make it out. So yeah,
Yeah,
it was just enough to get everybody scared.
it was enough to really freak us out. Like when I tell you the gas that flew out of our mouth, like
When I've gone to you, I was like, oh no.
it was so bad.
Yeah,
And yeah, like I'm happy that he joked about it. He's like, I've been stabbed before. It's not a big deal. And it gave us like that beautiful shot of like Andrew Garfield and Toby like holding on to each other.
yeah,
And then another part that the theater was so excited about was when the three of them hugged. Like when the three of them hugged each other, I loved that so much, seeing the three of them hug each other. It was so beautiful, and it was so nice to see like together like that unity that they felt in that moment, having
yeah,
defeated all their villains. And oh, it was really like the end game of Spider-Man movies. Like it really was in that way.
yeah.
And
It was
and then
up there.
Doctor Strange obviously comes, presses the button. We have to press the button. And of course, the way to fix it all was for Peter to make the ultimate sacrifice.
In
What
the end, he
what's left?
still had to make everyone forget him. Yeah, and of course, it has to be everybody. So now we have MJ and Ned who are forgetting him, and it was so sad when he had to like say goodbye to them and be like, "You're gonna forget me." And we got that kiss between him and MJ with the sun like shining, and it was just oh,
I
it was
could
so
cry.
devastating.
I could still cry. And like not even like it was just like MJ, but like seeing Ned and him too, like that's like his best friend from when they were kids. Like his girlfriend, yeah, but like Ned, who has been with him like since the first movie of like being
Yeah.
Spider-Man. Like it was just Oh, it was so sad that the goodbye with the three of them really. And then now we are at the very end of the movie where Peter is by himself. He is alone. Like he doesn't have any more mentors. He has nobody who knows that he's Peter. And it felt like we were back to kind of like the OG Spider-Man, like of like being on his own, no mentor. He sewed his own suit, like he made his own suit at the very end, which looked amazing. Like that suit looked so good.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the scene with Happy. I loved Happy in this movie too. I really was happy that he had that scene with Peter at the grave. Like I thought that was a very nice scene, even though like I wanted Peter to be like, I'm Spider-Man. But
Yeah, I
like
know. Tell somebody.
tell Happy at least.
Yeah.
But he didn't. And it can't be the end. That's my whole thing is like I know that there's a deal for another 3 Spider-Man movies. Like they're planning already on talking about Spider-Man 4. I just need it to be like a continuation. I need Tom Holland Spider-Man again. Like I need him to fix it. And I like that it foreshadowed that eventually like he would tell MJ. Like I like that they have that scene at the cafe where he visited her, and I love how she was like, I'm gonna figure it out again. Like she's like, I'm gonna figure it
I
out if
think
you don't
she
tell
will
me.
too. 'Cause I don't think he's going to tell them
Yeah.
because I feel like in that moment he saw, how happy they were that they were going to school, and I don't know. I feel like he felt very like I don't know, like he didn't want to burden them with that, and
Yeah.
telling them that he's Spider-Man and putting that on them, and he walks out and he doesn't tell her that he loves her like he was supposed to, and he doesn't say anything about him being Spider-Man, and I feel like she's gonna eventually figure it out. I don't think he's going to tell them.
No, I think she'll figure it out too because she's so smart, and I love that about her so much. And I like that she told him that too. She's like, if you don't tell me, I'm just gonna figure it out again. Like I'll know. It makes me sad though, like everything that Peter went through with the Avengers and Tony, like all that stayed with him. But like none of the Avengers know who he is anymore, and that makes me sad because we still have some of our Avengers crew is out there. Like obviously like Doctor Strange, we got Wanda. Like we
I feel like we
really.
need to fix this. We need to like have certain people remember him again somehow.
Well, that's the thing. Like they have to do something where they fix it. But again, this is like I know that there was like interviews of Tom saying like he wants to settle down and all that. But I'm like, this guy's got another movie coming out, and Zendaya's doing Dune. Like they both have like projects and stuff. Like I don't know how much they can really like settle down and all that. Like I feel like they're not real. Like I feel like it was just like a kind of like a I don't want to spoil that I'm actually coming back. I know that they did confirm that Spider-Man 4 is in the works, and we have another 3 Spider-Man movies that they are doing. I really want Sony to come through and give me Amazing Spider-Man 3. Like listen, like Sony, the reason like Sony makes it where we don't have the Spider-Man movies to stream on Disney Plus. So the least that they could do is give us Amazing Spider-Man 3. Please. Oh, let's talk about the end credit scenes. There were 2 in this movie. The Venom one was very interesting, seeing how we left a piece of Venom. So like that's like what like you got to have Spider-Man with Venom, Like that's I feel like that's going to be a really big thing for Peter Parker. Like for Tom Holland's Peter, like we left that in our universe, so that's going to go and that'll be Spider-Man 4. Like I feel like that'll be
Mhm.
Venom. And then we got a little tease of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Which looks really, really awesome.
That looks very good. We were not the biggest fans of the first Doctor Strange movie. Like it felt like I don't even like it was just like a trip. That movie was just weird. Like it was just like wild to me. I love Doctor Strange as a character and I love seeing him with everybody. And like I've
Mhm.
grown to really love him and I am so excited for his movie, especially seeing Wanda again.
Yes.
Oh,
That's exciting.
love her so much and I cannot wait to see her with Doctor Strange and to see what's going to happen like her continuation because we still have that white vision floating out there in the MCU like where is he? He's got Vision's memories.
Yeah.
Agatha from WandaVision is getting her own TV show which is very cool too.
Mhm.
But I can't wait to see the continuation of Wanda and Vision and what's going to happen with that. I guess they're saving Loki for either like a full trailer because I'm pretty sure Loki is going to end up being in the Multiverse of Madness with how his show ended.
Mhm.
But we shall see. We are very excited for everything that's going to be coming. Let us know what you guys thought about it down in the comments below.
Yep, let us know your favorite parts. Were you as heartbroken about the ending? Also, check out all of our social media down below.
Yes. Thank you for watching.
Watching.
Bye.